Hey Dave, how's it going?
Howdy.
Good.
Dave,
She got it.
do you think the attorney should be at that meeting? Did you read the packet?
I did, yes.
Well, it got back to me and he's kind
Yeah, I don't know.
you know,
I'm not that familiar with
how
it.
you feel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you print everything out?
Yeah, I did.
This is what I think is gonna be easy for us.
Okay.
I gave you two research, results. The table from this one does a
That was the
great job
attorney
of
for
summarizing the prior
the
two
meeting
pages.
that we
Okay.
have with
So we
Vespa.
just use
Is that what
this.
she's talking
No,
about?
this is,
This,
zoning
I think
board
it's
of
gonna work
appeal.
pretty well.
Okay.
So she denied some of the,
With that house thing, okay, yeah.
Okay, I saw the.
Yeah, I heard about that one. What happened? The house is not 14 foot wide on one side.
Fabulous.
And there's that, wasn't it 14 feet, Dave?
yeah, I guess they're, picture two 12-foot wide trailers in a T shape.
Drafted some things for him to
Is
post.
that okay?
And he doesn't-
There's no 14-foot wide.
Okay,
Section.
so if I put some notices together of different things, then.
So It's kind of a creative way to get around it. I thought it was creative.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, okay,
What we can use for that, you will get with her.
okay.
So,
And he would-
while we're getting ready to get started in just a minute,
Give you.
if you go to your agenda, I gave you the actual zoning article we're gonna talk about tonight. Then I gave you two gap analysis, okay?
The address.
So the Gemini one, is short and sweet. And it's about three, 4 pages. If you go to it's 3 pages. If you go to the third page, that's what I printed out for you.
Yeah, I just see.
And what I do like about this is it really does a nice way, it just really summarizes quite nicely the 2 prior pages. I checked that pretty carefully. And I thought we could use that to go along the second analysis, which is just below it. And that one's a little more complete. And we'll see that in many cases they agree, but in some cases, the second analysis goes deeper. So I'm just trying to give you an easy way to move through it tonight. That's what I came up with. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Did you follow me? Did you follow me, Jay? Okay. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Sort of.
And that's-
She is trailer coming inside.
Yes, okay, and that's part of the contract.
Right.
I just seen a trailer come in the other day. It wasn't looking good.
Their number one job.
A trailer or
A
what,
big trailer being towed down
Gotcha, in that-
384.
like an RV or
No.
a mobile home?
Home,
Okay.
used mobile, rusted roof and.
Put them on the before.
I didn't know what was towing it out. Well, that's true.
Bad.
That's true, but
Somebody's new.
they had a machine behind it going slow and it looks like they were doing stuff.
Do you think somebody was being
I'm
removed?
not stopping.
I think somebody was, well, I hope it was skeptical to see what was moved in there last year, right by me.
Okay,
So I was skeptical. And how can we find out that you think moving an extra wide vehicle on these roads that you would have to have a permit?
you would think so, yeah.
And then where are they?
I know we can't.
We have a sheriff.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, if there's
so who does that? The town or the county?
the county, I mean,
Types of things.
I don't know how many are
Then you
moving,
would
but
like-
especially on these side roads.
Or,
you know.
no, or.
These other guys. The guys are moving, they blocked our whole road forever.
Mm.
The guys
He's
are-
gonna issue citation.
Like they snuck it on a Friday, now this was.
Probably gonna get 10-day notice and then hearing over to that citation.
Yeah.
And way we go.
So in Alaska, guys that were moving, of course, we brought right one to the junkyard.
No,
Okay, yeah, that's pretty.
It's sort of what they do in Arlington and Lawrence Township.
Okay.
But, okay, I turned it down a little bit, and it's like
Yeah.
73, 74.
Yeah, did you make it a little cooler?
I did, 70, is that okay?
Yeah,
Is it the same officer?
yeah,
probably?
it's. Pardon?
Is it the same officer or just kind of the same?
We got our own.
We haven't-
Yeah,
we're going
Arlington
stuff.
does that too?
Pardon?
You just know that Arlington does that too? They have.
Every county sheriff department has a standard form and
Okay.
stuff that they do. Arlington Township, one of them, I know Orange Township is one of those, use the deputy sheriff. Then there's another deputy sheriff that does 10 hours for 4 different townships.
Okay.
Then basically he does their ordinance, so
Okay.
pretty much no time to do anything.
Right.
Are we live?
Yeah.
It's probably up to you. Is it up to you?
It would be up.
Use
here,
their
but I
faces there.
Kind of
Yeah.
wanted.
Do you know if the sound is on?
Since
Ken?
it's an interpretation
Yeah, you're in shape. You want the speaker version?
Sure, yeah.
Type of-
How do I,
No, I'll get it from the back.
how do you, I should know how to do this.
I haven't got long enough arms.
Um,
I got long arms.
okay.
That
Is
button
this
right there.
Forward on the mic? Okay, I'm live, are you live?
Didn't want to take no for name. But he was very nice.
Is there a checklist?
I can make one. Oh, I do. In fact, if I need sheet, yes. Yep. I do that. One. Yes, I think, yes, I have one. Sorry.
Ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. It's 6:02 and stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Where'd Jay go? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll wait for Jay, I guess, to do roll call here.
Sure.
Jay, we started. You already did the pledge. Waiting for roll call. Supervisor Spicer,
Here.
David Marcelletti,
Here.
Kate Schrank. Here, Frank Robichich,
Here.
Jay Foskey.
Here.
Minutes from the previous meetings. Do we have any changes or comments?
Did we approve the agenda?
We're doing it right now.
Huh?
Yeah, I jumped ahead. Approval of the agenda. My apologies. Yes, yeah, I jumped ahead. I didn't need to. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes or comments? Ken, I added your report at the end.
Okay, when did the meeting start?
6:02. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented then?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, agenda's approved. Minutes from previous meetings. Do we have any comments or suggestions there?
You taking public comments?
In a minute, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Are we okay on the agenda or pardon me, the previous minutes? May I have a motion to approve them if there's no changes?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
In a second?
Seconded.
Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Aye.
Public comments, yes, we did receive public comments from Karen Gruss just before the meeting. We all received them. Would someone like to read it out loud? Or summarize them for us?
I think we all read them. I don't know. if
Do it.
it's necessary.
Okay.
Did you see Karen's,
Not.
I haven't seen it either.
Well, then,
Oh, is it? Well, I can check the email.
yeah, I can't use my phone.
Was I copied?
I can read it if you
I don't
want.
remember. I know all of us
Is that in your
were.
computer? Yeah, yeah, Jay's got it right.
Do you want to give a quick little summary of it for us, Jay?
She said that she can't attend tonight, but she has a couple comments regarding STRs. And the first one is that enforcement needs to be answered before putting energy into consideration of special use provisions. And the second one is that as it stands, there are no guarantees of special use permits. But future consideration should include cooperation with the township, neighbor interviews, septic sizing and condition, building layout, width of lake shore frontage, distance from neighbors will all be factors. Inspection fees and time limits. Assessment records will be compared with actual buildings to determine prior zoning and permitting. Income tax filings may be required to assure that large-scale businesses are not permitted. And shared property or easements will not be allowed. Use of shared property or easements will not be allowed. And that's it.
Thank you.
And that was all regarding just short-term rental?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, she had something with the Article 2 about, putting a statement in that's a non-conforming use.
is that in
Oh.
there? I didn't read that. Did you read anything about non-conforming use for public comment?
She had something about non-conforming uses or, illegal non-conforming uses are not, cannot be legal.
Well,
If you have-
we will talk about that tonight. That's a
Yeah.
problem with our
But
ordinance.
she had that in there.
Did she?
I
Okay.
don't see
I
it.
don't see it. Yeah, I didn't read it.
There's 2 emails that she sent.
Oh, I
I
only
only
got
got one.
one. Yeah. Okay. No new business at this time, so we can move right into the zoning administrator's list of requested zoning amendments. Tasha, do you wanna talk about that? I know we talked, how you want to handle it in the context of the zoning review that we're doing.
Yeah, so
I might want to interject here before we get too far into this. Next week, we have a text amendment that was written by our attorney that they're recommending that we send it to the planning commission after that evening, if we approve it.
Was that for garage sales
Or
or
I think
containers?
it's for shipping containers.
Okay. We've
And
looked,
I thought if that text amendment comes in, you might want to throw a couple of
Well-
years that are hot into the same thing, so we have one public hearing and.
okay.
yeah, I think, let's let her speak, because you've asked her to provide a list of her amendments and we are in the middle of a process right now. So I'd like her thoughts on how we address her needs and also realize we're in the middle of a process.
Well, no.
Your
So
email?
I think, Ken had sent me an email, so, or no, he had sent it to you to put on the agenda,
Mhm.
to put my list on the agenda.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly,
so per Ken's request to you to put on the agenda, here's my list
yes.
of the amendments. Which we've kind of already talked about before, moving the accessory building out of the districts and having its own section in the general provisions. Moving the setbacks from the 403 into the actual districts. Because right now the setbacks are in like 4 different locations and they're all different, so
Mhm.
putting those all in one location, even if it's redundant in each of the districts. The 2-tier of the ag district, the 10-acre and then under 10-acre. Needs some clarification.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because we have done the districts and I don't recall you're making a comment.
So ag
A,
A.
B,
is 10 acres.
Uh-huh,
So if you have 10 acres or more, then you're under ag A.
mhm,
So if you have 20 acres to do a land division, you have to have 10 acres. So you
mhm,
can divide it once and have 2 10s.
mhm,
But if you have an existing parcel that's under 10 acres,
mhm,
then you fall in like this next tier category, which is ag B.
mhm,
And you can divide your property into 1 acre.
mhm,
So there's this huge gap of if you have 11 acres,
mhm.
you can't do a land division. But if you have under 10, then you can then do you could do the 4 divisions of the Land Division Act alone.
Okay,
So there's this weird middle. But they're the same other than that. So the setbacks are the same, the uses are the same, so
mhm.
I don't know why we have this two-tiered.
Can you guys speak to that since you've worked on the ordinance at various
It's not
times?
preserving farmland, so I don't want to get the 10-acre thing, so,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah,
Or if the under 10 acres should have different setbacks or something different to. I think it was probably Patrick's idea, to have some. You know, if you already have too much acres, you can't divide, but we already know that there's a lot that were already established under 10 acres. So to make those conforming, there's this weird dispute.
So are you saying like the 11 acres was in limbo?
Yeah, so if you have 11 acres, you can't divide your property because you need 10 acres.
exactly 10?
You need 10, correct. So you couldn't divide it in half and have 2 6s. Because you have to have 10 acres.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. And tell me, and remind
If
me.
you had 8 acres,
Mhm.
then you could divide it into a 1-acre parcel.
So that seems like a gap in the
Yeah,
whole,
so there's,
okay,
yeah,
okay, got it.
so it's like
So you're
you're
stuck.
penalized
Yeah.
for,
We
Yeah.
didn't pick up on that when we went through the districts. I don't recall talking about that at all. Do you, and you guys remember talking about it?
Yeah.
In our session? I don't remember bringing it up. But that seems important.
I didn't really point out, we weren't really going through all the things that I see need help in the ordinance.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
And then there's a few, the accessories on vacant lots that needs to be readdressed. 410A, I don't remember what that is. Oh, the minimum dwelling regulations.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, it talks about all these permits that are required. That really shouldn't be in the zoning ordinance,
What section are you talking about?
410A.
Okay, and we'll be going over that next month. Section
And
4.
The last one is just like class 2 home occupation. Was referendum, the text is actually still in the ordinance.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I have a lot more, but. If I had to pick, the setbacks would be the one thing that I would fix. Out of all of the other things.
I don't see why we aren't why we aren't gonna just do this right. You know, you don't rewrite your ordinance every day. We haven't done it for decades.
Right. But that was kind of the list that I
Okay,
had.
all right.
We've done text amendments.
Right, but like the whole thing. So what we're doing this time,
Codified it, didn't we?
So the ordinance as a whole has not been amended in a long time.
Right.
There have been piecemeal.
And we
amendments
codified it when we put our text amendments in.
in 20
Normally we get 4 or 5 of them and we
Correct.
correct it.
but to Tasha's point about section 4 and wanting to combine the setback provisions with the districts, so it's easier to read, even if there's redundancy within our zoning ordinance. Williams' works is saying the same thing. Yeah, there's,
Things that they pointed out.
Yes.
I also.
yes.
Totally agree with you.
And they're recommending that we, pull the districts out and have
Yes,
each one separate.
correct, yep,
One section for PUDs, one section for
Yep.
special, use hearings, just so that it'll be a bigger ordinance and there will be some overlap, but the idea is to make it easier for someone to use the ordinance, so everything they need is hopefully under one
right,
section.
like everything is in Article 4. but
Exactly.
Article 4, that could very easily be like 5 articles, all just in that one article, so separate. Yeah.
And Article 4, so we're moving, so Article 4, I think we'll get through Article 2 pretty easily tonight. Article 4 is up for next month. It may take 2 months, I don't know. There's a lot to it, and when I was looking at Williams and Works again today, and they have a lot to say about Article 4. And you might have a lot to say about Article 4, so just a heads up on that. Okay, so are you comfortable with our process so far?
You know that, the township board is, kind of directing the planning commission to get involved with short-term rentals for survey and master plan revision.
So we all listened we either attended the special meetings and we know you talked about it in your report. We can talk about it later in the meeting too.
Well, I don't, you know, if you're looking at your schedule, you might have to make some adjustments if we get into, they want the master plan surveyed them. And they have a deadline of December 31st to make a decision on short-term rentals.
So, let's talk about that at the end of the evening, okay?
We can do that.
All right, so moving on then to Article 2. So I'm gonna suggest that you have your Article 2 in front of you. And then I gave you this chart, Ken, I've explained this to everyone else. That chart I gave you two researches, right? So if you look at your agenda packet, the first one says Gemini AI gap analysis. That's what this chart is from. The one right there to your left, on your left, where your left hand is. That's it.
Yeah,
And that's
I see that, and I read both of your,
okay, can I recommend something?
yeah,
I would recommend that you take that chart and you put it alongside the second research project that starts with the words executive takeaway, and we can just compare them together. It makes it easier. I've kind of gone through it pretty carefully, and this chart from the first research result does a nice job of summarizing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I saw your gap identified substantial missing stuff. I read through that. I thought that was quite interesting.
yep, let's just go through it.
And then the recommendations that they had at the back, I thought were quite
Yep.
cool too.
Well, let's just go through it, okay? So let's just start, take a minute and look at section 2.01 intent. This is non-conforming lots, structures and uses that cover all districts. That's what we're talking about tonight. Non-conforming lots, Article 2. And the first provision, section 201, is intent. So just take a moment to take a look at that, please. So, the first chart that I printed out for you is calling, well, here are the issues that are being called forward. First of all, the very first thing that I think you already said, the intent statement should make it clear that any parcel that's already illegally non-conforming remains that way. And there's a request by Williams and Works to have an affirmative statement that non-conforming uses that are illegal remain illegal. I don't know if you want to have an enforcement process in there, if that's appropriate. But there's no affirmative statement that if you're an illegal non-conforming use, this non-conforming article doesn't help you. Do we have a lot of non-conforming uses that?
We don't have a lot.
Probably just
There
subdivisions.
probably are some, but 2.01 is only the intent.
Mhm.
When we get down farther is when you get into the nitty gritty of.
But it doesn't really address this issue. That if you were illegal, if you've always been illegal. If you've been an illegal non-conforming, kind of a crazy way to talk about it. So there are some non-conforming that are legal.
Well, I think it would just be, because yes, it refers to lawful non-conformities and. So I think ex facto, if you were illegal, then this doesn't apply.
I hear you. I'm just, Williams and Works called it out, so did both the gap analysis, that affirmative statement that says something like this would be helpful.
Just
A use, structure or lot established in violation of this ordinance shall not be considered non-conforming and shall remain in violation until brought into compliance. They're looking for that,
Oh, okay.
that kind of
Yeah.
statement.
So is this lot legal to be sold? Can you sell it?
What lot are you talking about?
Just illegal, let's say I got an
Oh.
illegal pick.
There's
If you can't sell it,
There's nothing prohibiting the sale of it,
okay.
but there could be a prohibition of using it. So nothing stops anyone from buying or selling property, but when that person who buys it wants to use it, there could then possibly be And that's why people call and ask.
Okay,
If I
yeah, I
buy
mean, that
this-
makes sense, and that's, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
if I buy
that would be a
this,
deterrent,
I can
and that
tell
would be a way to,
Little itty bitty lots. You know, that are 20 by 40 that are on the tax sale.
little city lots, yes.
Well, 2.02B kind of makes it very clear that if it's non-conforming use is discontinued due to vacancy or lack of operation or otherwise, after 12 months, they have to comply with the ordinance.
Questions that were raised in the gap analysis that I'll just bring forward for you guys, but it's right in here is, you know. Guess I
I
recognize
don't
it.
think the statement being put in there is gonna hurt us at all.
No, we wouldn't.
So I'm just saying that I think, because our attorney says they're covered by our zoning ordinance, I think right now we're covered by our zoning ordinance, that doesn't mean we can't improve it.
That's what we're talking about.
Mhm.
So other comments that were made in the gap analysis and with Williams and Works is, you know, some questions. I recognize section .201 is intent. But the way that they're saying lawful nonconformance may be fully replaced on the same footprint unless the structure extends across a property line, easement, or right of way. And the effective property cannot be purchased. And they're asking, well, what if the footprint's a minor encroachment? Or what if you're going vertical? Not going wide? Or what if the owner wants a minor little change? Or what about a voluntary expansion? I don't know the answers to these questions, but these are the questions that are raised.
Mhm.
As maybe not clearly answered in this article. Do you guys have thoughts about that?
I think it slightly gets to it in 203, where it talks about reconstruction. And then repair in 204,
Mm-hmm,
so it kind of then, because 201 is only the intent, so we
Right.
don't have rules in the intent, it's only the intent. So you're intending to allow things that were conforming and now they're not because of setbacks. If something were to happen to them to be replaced in approximately the same location. Unless it's over the property line or in the right of way,
mm-hmm.
so. So if your setback is 10 feet and you're only 5 and your house burns down. Then
You gotta move it.
this would then let you build it in the same.
As long as you aren't attached to another property or,
As long as you're
encroaching, yeah.
approximately the same footprint.
yeah,
But correct, it then doesn't talk about going up.
right. It doesn't talk about going up. Yeah.
Bottom.
Yeah.
So to me, it would need to be relatively also the same house. But correct, it doesn't say
It doesn't say, yeah.
same size.
Yeah.
But same footprint, yeah, it's just the ground.
There's gonna be a few comments like that that I picked up on, as I
When I tore my cottage down and rebuilt it, too close to the property boundary, and I was told I had to have the same footprint. Same area of kitchen, same number of bathrooms, same number of bedrooms, same number of living room. And, but I had to
Tore
move it,
down,
I had to move it
voluntarily?
over 10 feet to meet the minimum setback.
but you
And I was,
voluntarily,
huh?
you voluntarily tore it down?
I got demolition.
No, I meant like a tree didn't fall on it or.
No, it was old, it had to go. And,
Yeah, so if a tree falls on it, then it's like
repairing it, yeah.
you're safe, but if you wanna voluntarily do it, then you're like penalized.
Well, we'll get to it in a
Yeah.
minute because but there's also, you know, well, a fire, what if you're negligent and you
Yeah.
cause that fire?
Mhm,
Or the explosion like that guy that, you know, I mean, it happens.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah,
You know, but you're negligent. Do you get to we haven't, that's not addressed either. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, anything else on 2.1? We can move on to 2.2. That's all I had on 201. Did anybody else have anything else? Because we could just move on to 202 and take a second to read it. So I'm just gonna jump in under 202A. I have this comment. Again, this is from the gap analysis in the Williams and Works. At the discretion of the owner, the lawful use of a building existing prior to the effective date of this ordinance may be continued, but its use, although the use does not conform to the provisions of this ordinance, and such use may be extended throughout said building and premises. That's the language, said building and premises. The questions being asked in a gap analysis is, well, what if the owner intensifies the nonconformance, the use of the property, there's an intensity issue, they ramp up, or what if they do expand? Or what if they want to change their nonconforming use? Or what if they want to relocate? So those were all questions that were raised in relation to section 202A. For the language, such use may be extended throughout said building. What is use?
Supposed to say not. 'Cause that would make more sense. It would make more sense if it said such use may not be extended throughout the building premises.
Well, that's a good point.
Typo.
Because, yeah, you're right. So this would then say, yes, you can just.
You could do
extend.
anything.
Yeah,
I think maybe it's missing the word
making a note of that.
not, maybe. At the discretion of.
But then what does it mean? May not, what are the said building and premises?
So in the building is where you have the use.
Mhm.
So, or if it's an outside use. So if you have a non-conforming use, or it was lawful, now we changed the zoning and now it's not. This says, although it doesn't conform, you may extend it throughout the building or the premises. So that, to me, means you can expand, but I don't think you want it to expand because you want to get rid of them.
So yeah, is that the policy here? I mean, I'm no way, by no means an expert on this. I'm learning too. You know, is it the I've done a little research enough to know there's some modern flexibility standards for non-conforming lots that some townships are using, others, because this, I did read a little bit that this way of making it difficult to use your property at all is kind of coming out of favor. It's considered old school. I'm probably not saying it as well as you could.
So typically. The thought of this is to get rid of non-conforming
Mhm.
structures and uses.
Mhm.
The uses probably for sure. Would be more thought to get rid of once
the-
they're not continued, like the north and, or no, I think that's zone commercial, right? The
The North
bar,
Lake Inn,
is that zone commercial? I guess that's not a very.
it was grandfathered in, as I recall, once it became residential. It's probably R2, isn't
I
it?
think the Dutch Mill was, commercial.
Ken, North Lake Inn, isn't that
It is.
R2?
No, that's not a very good example. Anyway, if for some reason it was zone residential. And now it hasn't been used, that use now. It
Yeah,
can't be that use. And
okay,
it-
understood, yeah.
it has- But, correct, so while we're redoing the ordinance moving forward,
Yeah,
if you would want more flexibility. For people who wanted to add in additions, so let's say this line, you're 3 feet, you have to be 10. But you can then extend along that line because you're already there.
mhm.
No.
Are you getting those kinds of?
That's a lot of, I mean, no, I
Well,
mean, we don't get,
Dutch Mill used to be a bar, and now it's, short-term.
well, that's a very good example, so that should have never been a bar,
It should have never been a bar.
should have never
And
been.
then they allowed the bar expand in 1986,
That's a
out
good
to the
example.
front where they put all the windows in on the lakeside and then the deck them on.
No, I don't get a lot of,
Okay,
that's very common in when you change the setbacks, to then get a lot of variances. But I think your setbacks have been the same for a while, so.
okay, okay.
Or or they don't wanna go through the variance process and they just put the addition to conform
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay, so we might want to consider some tweaks to this on a rewrite to anticipate some of the changes that we like going vertical, for example. That would be one that seems obvious to me, or an intensification, but we're just doing a place mark right now.
How are we keeping track of our non-conforming uses of it?
Or not.
How would we know that we had a non-conforming use up in
Um,
Dutch Mill, right?
just probably going through records, people that have been here for a long time that know things. Sometimes with resources, yes.
Betty down the street, huh?
So when you're really organized, yes, some
We need a
municipalities,
list, right?
some municipalities have lists. But like someone would need to drive around and,
How would you know they're non-conforming just looking at them?
Well, then you would need a survey, and that's where surveys should come in, and
Okay.
any new buildings coming in. I mean, how would you know?
How would you know?
You look at their, you look
when
at their.
somebody has an auto repair, which was very popular in the sixties and seventies, and they're out in the country and they're still going. You would know that was non-conforming, because you can't have an auto repair in the ag district as an example, so.
There's a paint shop on 50th Street in South.
There are probably some businesses out there.
Mhm.
That's the one the referendum was on, to stop it. We didn't allow it, but it's been there, son.
You probably have more non-building buildings, structures due to setbacks than you do uses.
Yeah. We ought to add something to the ordinance of the record keeping of the non.
But if
I made a note of it. Yeah, I made a note of it.
Time on their hands. but
Yeah. Who's that? Who has time on their hands?
Yeah.
What's that?
Hire Kelly girl who's go through the records.
I feel like in one of them, we did a sign, we drove around and took a record of all of the signs, because they were getting ready to change their sign ordinance. And they had like 2 years to come into compliance. So that was a lot of work.
Signs for what?
In a city,
Oh, okay,
in
okay.
a city.
I gotcha.
They were getting ready to change their sign ordinance.
Commercial signs for ads and,
Yeah,
okay.
which would then bring a lot of them out of compliance with the new regulations, and they had like 2 years, so they had to,
Okay.
make a list of all of the signs to.
Okay, so let's just take a second and look at 2B, please. 202B. This is where the non-conforming use is discontinued through vacancy, lack of operations, or otherwise for continuous period of 12 months, like North Lake Inn that we just talked about. The comment here is missing criteria for evidence that they've been not operating for 12 months. I'm seeing, instead of 12 months, 365 consecutive days is a better language. I'm just throwing it out there. And then missing criteria for evidence, it would be things like utility bills, signs removed.
Boarded up.
Yeah,
So that's a continuous period of 12 months.
uncared for, yeah.
Well, we know North Lake, we know Stokes Farm Market is no longer operational more than 12 months. We know the Dutch Mill
I
changed.
think this list is. If you had to use this section, this language would help you make a decision. Discontinue through vacancy, obviously if it's not being occupied, you can
Mhm.
tell.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of operation, you could tell if it's not operating.
Evidence
So,
of 12 months
yeah.
though, that's the issue. Courts
So
like
we have
evidence.
We have three things. Vacancy, lack of operation, or otherwise a continuous period of 12 months. So there's three things that would then qualify.
Yeah, and the gap analysis, and I think Williamson works, or just saying, be more specific. State, for example,
Yeah.
utility bills,
Yes,
signs of not unkept property, boarded up windows.
can't hurt to have.
Yeah,
for-
specific.
sure, Yeah,
That's the only point there.
yeah.
You gotta take a picture of it at that time, and then you gotta, a year later, go take another one.
Yep.
Or some of them talk about being abandoned, being,
Here's it, utility disconnection, removal of equipment, removal of signage, lack of maintenance, evidence, just as general,
Yeah,
evidence of
yeah.
intent to abandon.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but a year consecutive means you're watching the property and
Yeah.
we don't really have a system in place for that. But that seems to be the standard across the state, is
Right.
so.
So you would just pick a year. Like, yeah, you'd have to, I just drove across this, I just now saw it, nothing's there. You would then start the clock there, so you for sure had
Mhm,
the year.
mhm.
But it says, but if it's discontinued through vacancy and it's vacant, you don't have to wait a year. It says, or otherwise,
I see that as vacancy for 12 months.
No.
I mean, what vacancy for 30 days, vacancy for a week, it's too ill-defined. I see it as discontinued through vacancy, comma, lack of operations or otherwise for continuous period of 12 months.
There's somewhere where that 12 month can.
It's state,
very
it's a
popular.
state standard.
I've seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of them are longer, but 12 months is very standard.
Yeah, I've seen 2 years. Well, there it says 2 years there. In ours.
all of our sources are saying 12 months is enough, but we just need that evidence. Okay, can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so section 203, which is reconstruction of damaged, this will be an interesting conversation perhaps. Reconstruction of damaged, non-conforming buildings and structure. Just take a second to look at it, please. So the big issue that's pointed out for this is, full construction regardless of the extent of damage. That was really spotted by Williams and
Yeah.
Works and all that, like, nobody does that. It's like 50 to 75%.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And my thought was, well, if you have a non-conforming lot and it is damaged by fire that you caused through your own negligence or an explosion, do we want to give them, I mean, do we want to talk about is?
But how would we know?
Yeah, who's?
Well, you would, an insurance company would know if there's any property, they won't reimburse if it's negligent. I don't know. I just seems,
The insurance company doesn't talk to the township.
no.
But the fire department usually does a survey of all fires, don't they? They see where they start.
Yeah, yeah,
Fire department.
yeah,
Fire department.
yeah,
one that-
yeah, they might know if it was intentionally.
They do it for the insurance company too. The
Yeah,
insurance company.
right, yeah.
And then that record would then need to be given to the township, so the township could put it in like the parcel file or something.
Do you see this point in others township? Am I just making something up
No,
here?
I've never heard the.
Okay.
if They caused it to then not let them rebuild.
It just seems unfair if they explode their house on purpose. I don't know, my nuts?
No, I mean,
People do.
People do, you gotta. What do you think?
Well, that would be fraud.
Do you think if someone has a non-conforming lot and through their own negligence, it burns down,
I'm sure it happens.
do we let them
Yeah.
build again, or would we be involved would we be in trouble? Would we be somehow stripping them of their rights? I have no idea.
Yes.
You gotta be able to prove it. If you can't prove it, then innocent until proven guilty.
And if the insurance company is okay with it, you're kind of,
Well, that's what Frank is saying, the
They-
fire department does if it's an explosion or a fire, they would be there, they get evidence
Yeah.
too.
Fire marshal comes up.
I defended us.
Evaluate.
Yeah. so-
Right, but
Tell you
they
where it
have to be
started.
convicted, like
It's not
Yeah.
criminal, it's more like you wouldn't get your insurance coverage.
Yes, so
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have insurance, so.
True that. So you're saying it's not a top priority for other townships at all, it hasn't been a big issue,
No,
it's just
but
something
they
that,
do have the percentage though.
Yes,
There
for
is a
sure.
Percentage to where if you're like under 60%, but then they throw in the construction value or the value of the house, which sometimes is hard to determine what that is, so, but most of them have a percentage.
do we have a sense of what percentage we would wanna go with? A house is a non-conforming use is,
No, this is just,
yeah, it's damaged, a non-conforming use is damaged.
so not a use, it's the building, so you're too close to the property line.
And it's damaged, so are we looking for 50% damage? Or do we need 75? Is there a best practice on that? That's considered, about right?
I
I'm
think
looking to you for
50%,
that.
They said something about it was pretty much standard.
50 to 70,
Previously
yeah.
existing footprint.
Then they can't build it again, in that footprint,
So this,
they have to move it.
Right, so the thought is if it's, let's say 75% damaged and you, like, literally at that point, you have to basically tear it all down.
Mhm.
If
And
you're too
rebuild.
close to the property line, then you then have to move it.
mhm,
But most houses already have the foundation that's there, so now they have to move
mhm.
the foundation. So yeah, that's.
Hmm.
I think the way that it's written would let anybody, if we're kind of talking about, you know, letting people keep what they already have, if I already have a house.
Except we want to get rid of
Your
non-conforming
gap-
uses.
Gap says, most ordinances use 50%
50%.
to 75%.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, which would we go with? Would we go with
Page
50?
15 and 35.
Yeah, would we go with 50 or
I know I read
70?
that somewhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm not hearing a lot of discussion, well, maybe we're all just kind of like, we don't really know, we really don't have, and that's okay. But that would be something we'd need to think about when we revise this thing. Okay,
Right, so
Roll the
basically,
dice.
yeah,
if it's 75% damage, then you cannot build it in the same location. You then have to meet the requirements of the ordinance, is what that would mean.
so 75% would be
That's-
a so-called fairer standard, more generous than a 50% under that.
Or I mean, just,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Okay,
it would need to be more than 50%
Mhm.
because now you're at that's just too close to that line, so.
Mhm.
I think it would need to be more than 50% to then,
and have we done anything as a township, since it's been a while, I want to say it's 2010 since the original ordinance came out, irrespective of there have been a number of text amendments. So have we done anything that occurs to you over the last 10 years or so that created more non-conforming lots? Or are we really talking about lots that go way back to when the ordinance was first written, back with the old plats in particular? Is that really what we're talking about here?
Most of our non-conforming lots are the small lot sizes in the subdivisions.
well, this
Okay.
particular one is the structure, not the lot.
Yeah.
This 203 is the actual building that's on the lot. So the setbacks that we have are very generous. So on the teeny tiny lots, the side setback is only 3 feet.
Right,
So there is language in here that if you're small, gives you a small setback.
mhm,
So there aren't, that I have found are a lot of, you know, we're not getting variances all the time for people to, you know, that don't meet the setbacks.
so how would this apply in the ag area, for example? If you're on, more than 10 acres and your house burns down, and you're are there non-conforming uses in the ag district? Like,
Well, if
something
you're
too
not-
close to a boundary or something?
I don't know.
But almost, it would have to take that, right? Am I understanding that correctly? To be non-conforming in ag on a large parcel, you'd have to be near a property line or something?
Correct,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah,
A road, property line.
yeah, setback issue, okay.
And the non.
Some of these farmers are not taking 2 acres and dividing the house out of the farm.
The non, it,
I'm just trying to figure out if we have created any
No.
since the
I'm
ordinance,
gonna say no,
okay.
they would have. I don't think any amendments that we have done have put things to be non-conforming.
Okay, well, that's good,
And how do we know that?
because we have zoning administrators that have a history of how we've
We
been
just
doing
had a
it.
building built that's non-conforming.
You did?
No, not me, but on our lake. And we're still
The
fighting.
barn.
So that
Oh, I
wasn't
would-
due to the ordinance amendment, that was,
That's an illegal,
that was the
Okay.
administrative.
I'm talking about that. too
Mistake
small
of-
farm.
There's
That's
a
right.
owner
Right,
not
actually,
getting the survey.
Into the, after
There's
even
no
5 feet, 10
property
foot
line.
setback, and it's only 8 inches away from the property.
Plus they pulled their own permit.
Supposedly, but I'm just saying,
that
I mean, how do we
wasn't-
know on any properties? We never have anything surveyed, we just go by what they say.
I would, you don't require a survey when
Not
somebody,
require a survey.
We need to.
That's where I'm going.
where would that be?
Be in the zoning administrator section for permits.
Yeah, where you got your
I think it,
septic and all that
it
other
might
stuff.
say in there what you need to put on your site plan or whatever in that section. It would go there. I mean, just to throw that out, I would like, I have other townships that I wish where when you put something on the setback line. If you want it to be at the 10-foot setback line, then you have to submit a survey.
Mhm.
I think that would be very helpful, and then also an as-built after you put in the foundation, to have it surveyed again, to make sure it meets the requirements. But if you're, you know, if you're 50 feet from the line and you're not even close. Then I think that would be different, but. Just
Okay.
kind of a thought, I don't think every situation would require a property survey. I think if you wanna be close to the setback, then you.
If you're gonna ride that edge, you might have to prove it.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay,
I think that at that point, a survey should be required.
okay. I made a note
I
of
don't
it.
know how you would put that in words, but
We
that's.
can figure that
yeah.
out, no. Okay, anything else on 203 reconstruction of done damage? Let me see, is anything? No, I don't think so. All right, do you want to take a minute to look at 204? Repair, alteration, and completion of non-conforming buildings.
Expansion. I don't know what the difference between. The reconstruction and the repair alteration, we kind of use the same words. Expansion, repair, reinforcement, improvement, replacement, rehabilitation, what does that mean? I feel like 203 and 204A relatively say the same thing. Oh, okay, never mind. So 204 means. It was not damaged by fire, collapse, explosion.
They just want to change it, yeah.
Public enemy. Okay,
Yeah,
got
I
it.
want to go vertical. I want to make a change in my footprint.
I'm on the property line
Mm-hmm,
and I have a flat roof and I wanna now have a pitched roof. That's kind of what that would mean. So you would be able to change your roof pitch as long as
you're not,
no additional non-conformities
Non-conformance.
were created.
Yep.
So you wouldn't be able to put on a full second story, but you could change the pitch of your roof as long as it was just the roof and not a second story.
do you think this language says that well enough?
No,
Okay.
because I don't understand the expansion. Shall prevent the expansion, and then it says.
Well, you
No.
could go up a little, as we just said, you could go vertical a
But
little.
then it says no. Additional non-conformances are created.
Right.
I would think if you were expanding, you would be,
Well, this doesn't talk about vertical height at all. This whole, it really doesn't.
Right.
So we may want to, I don't know. Do we add that? I don't know. I've seen it
There's already a limit, right?
so
in the districts.
I
Yeah.
think that there would be cases to where. It would save people from going to the zoning board of appeals, if there was a consensus that. If you were 5 feet from the property line and needed to be 10, and you wanted to add a second story, that you didn't need a variance.
You don't wanna let them add a second, sir.
You know,
So right now, I would send.
If you're on a lake and you
You don't
got
look
someone
next to
behind
that.
you, they got a beautiful view till that neighbor comes in and tears down that house.
there's
and
not a
builds
view shed
three-story
ordinance.
house. Huh?
There's not a view shed ordinance. So I would send them to the zoning board of appeals. And then they would then decide.
Well, and next month, we should be talking about setbacks. So a lot of this, we're gonna be talking about this a lot next month. So we'll try to keep this issue of nonconformance in our minds as we're looking at the setbacks for the different districts. And see. There are vertical limits for the overlay, for example, as I recall. Am I
So you can
wrong?
only go up 35.
Yeah, so I mean, that's all in. So if I have a non-conforming lot in the overlay and I wanna add on a little vertically, but I don't go above the setbacks for vertical, can I do that? As long as I'm not expanding my footprint and encroaching on anybody else's property?
So if the structure is non-conforming due to setbacks, then you can't go up. Because you're already not conforming to the setback. You'd have to start, you're going up to meet the setbacks. We're talking about not lots, we're talking about the structure
Yeah,
of the lot.
yeah.
Doesn't meet the setback requirements. So you're too close to the property line. That's what makes you a non-conforming building.
And you want to do this on your own.
But if I'm too close, I'm not changing that. That's my non-conforming. I'm too close to the property line. I don't need to do this, by the way. I'm just trying to understand if
So you
we,
already don't meet the setback requirement.
right, but I'm not changing it either. I just want to go up.
Correct. Now you're,
But if I don't exceed the setback in place for vertical, how is that an additional non-conformance?
because you're
But you just built on
expanding the
5 foot, not to 10.
non-conformity up.
Say that again?
You're expanding it up.
Then you're 5 feet away.
So
and
you can
should be
also
10.
go in the air. It isn't.
That's the original non-conformance. I'm trying to look for the additional I've been.
Additional, is-
Going up,
Okay,
yes.
so now you're violating that 5 foot again. You gotta-
Correct,
You gotta go
yes.
10 foot with that.
okay.
But if you move the going up over to meet the setbacks, then you could without a problem and go up to the 35 feet, you wouldn't need a variance. So you can,
35 to the peak or to the eve?
for me,
The peak,
no, the middle of the
the
knee.
eve, or the eve.
Oh, the knee, yes, sorry.
Okay, 204B, the gap analysis when Williams works, we just get rid of it. It doesn't belong here. They're saying it's, more like a building code issue and it should be
Yeah.
removed.
It's just the whole thing removed.
Just remove it, yeah.
It's kind of to feel like a temporary dwelling kind of thing. Shall be used as a dwelling for more than 2 years, so it's like you were using your basement while you were building the rest of your house.
Yeah.
But I concur with removing it.
That's all I have on 204 unless somebody has something else.
Additions to.
I'm just gonna go back. I'm looking at the gap analysis, just, additional non-conformance needs to be defined a little better than it is.
Now,
You sure you wanna remove B?
We're being we're saying it doesn't belong, that all the gap analysis, Williams works, it just doesn't belong there. If that it's more of a building code issue.
Well, it belongs somewhere, that's for sure.
So I know people build garages and then they.
You live in
the
them.
Garages, they
You
leave
live
their
in
house.
those.
it would be more in the temporary dwelling section.
Yeah.
I also concur it should be removed. It doesn't really make any sense.
Okay,
If you have kind of already been permitted to live in the basement temporarily with the permit that you are constructing, so that doesn't make it.
okay. Okay, 205, non-conforming lots of record. So we've touched on this already. My question is, are they only an RO at this point, as far as we understand our township? Because any changes we make through this process, we don't want to create more non-conforming lots, right? We want to avoid that if possible, I assume.
We wanna bring them into compliance.
And we don't really have non-conforming lots of record. We've sort of established that we don't really have a list, but we have an understanding of such people that have lived here a long time. You kind of. So the one comment that I got on this across the board, was, when you buy an adjacent non-conforming lot, you're on a non-conforming lot and you buy an adjacent non-conforming lot, to make it clear in the language of our ordinance that by doing that, you're forfeiting your right to ever develop that lot that you're purchasing. Just make it clear. Not that it can't be done, but that you want to avoid complaints from people that want to later on sell that lot that they bought adjacent, and make it clear in the ordinance and so they cannot do that. Does that make sense? Yeah? That makes
What
sense.
if you want to put two lots together and build them?
Right, there's some work.
They're saying no, once in the what this says is if you have a non-conforming lot and you're next to a non-conforming lot, you can purchase it, but it becomes one lot. and you can't build on it. And that's different than what we allow regular, like in residential districts to do on an adjacent lot where they can put an accessory building. In this case, you couldn't sell it again. You couldn't split the lot again once you've purchased it and try to sell it as a buildable lot. Once you combine lots,
We allow 11 combined lots to make a buildable lot, to get 12,000 square feet.
So here's
She
another,
received a 12,000 square feet, you could have 4 lots.
yeah, no, the combination is not the problem. The problem is letting the ordinance language clearly state that when you do that, you can't split the lots again and go back to 2 non-conforming lots. That's the only point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Should not allow them to do that.
And that's the comment, is make it clear in the ordinance itself.
I didn't understand
this
it.
205
You're right.
needs major code. This does not really say that if you have a non-conforming lot of record, yeah, this definitely needs to be reworded. Cause this only talks about the construction of dwellings on lots of record in existence. It doesn't talk about just lots of records that don't meet the ordinance requirements. Because they are grandfathered. However, you have to meet the requirements of the ordinance. So we can't have a takings and take something away. Like, you know, if you have 10,000 square feet and not 12,000 square feet, and you can get a septic and well and build your house, then we can't tell them you can't.
Okay,
That's really not what this says. And then here's another good example of setbacks. Why on earth would anyone read the non-conforming section to find setbacks?
right.
The side setback shall be 5 feet in the width. Yes,
And the other comment that's made is that the provision should clarify that when you have these you have 2 non-conforming lots, now you own them, that's 1 lot, and that any permitted or special use is allowed. That's also not clear. And that was something that was brought up in the gap analysis. What do you guys think about that? Is that realistic?
I have some other ones that I like way better
Okay,
that say you would have to combine them together. This doesn't really say you have to combine them together, it just says. If you don't have one in common ownership. So if you have 2 30-foot wide lots next to each other. Then you have to put them together.
and am I correct that this I mean, it refers to section 3.03, which is old plats. Do we have, I've asked this again a couple times already, but. Is that really all we're worried about here when it comes to ordinance revision? Are we really just worried about non-conforming lots in the old plats area? Is that really just it? Cause that's mostly,
Mostly.
no?
No, we were worried about non-conforming lots in all of the districts,
Okay,
so.
cause this, I think it makes it seem like it's kind of,
So typically, the plats are non-conforming because the lots of record don't meet the ordinance requirements as they stand alone. So if you own a 20-foot wide lot by 100 feet, then technically you would be able to build on it if you could meet the requirements of the ordinance.
Mhm.
So typically, you can't tell them they can't build it. We do tell them that to sway them away because most people don't know. We can't tell them. But then the ordinance says you need 12,000 square feet. So that would be, if you were creating a new parcel today, you need 12,000 square feet and 100 feet of road frontage.
Mhm.
So if you had parcels and you wanted to divide them, you wouldn't be able to because you don't meet the requirements.
Mhm.
But if you own a lot and you try to get a permit and you met the requirements, then we would issue you a permit because your lot is grandfathered because it existed before the ordinance.
This is also where the question of here's the phrase, modern dimensional flexibility standards. That came up in my gap analysis, and it was a term I wasn't familiar with, so that's what I looked it up. And it's this concept that, if you're looking to avoid lawsuits with property owners that want to do something with their property and they're being told they can't because it's non-conforming. It's a complex idea. Some townships have allowed for some variations in rebuilding of non-conforming use, but I'm not familiar with the concept.
Yeah,
Are you more familiar around here that if you have a non-conforming lot, the idea is to just move off of it, get rid of it eventually? If it's,
so Casco Township, they fixed their non-conforming section and they have if you own one lot of record, you have to be 50 by 100 to build. So if you're not 50 by 100, you can't build on
okay,
it. And they have stuck to that, and I think they've been challenged maybe once or twice,
mhm,
but they have some platted lots that aren't 100 feet. So basically, you can't build on that, which is wrong. We can't tell them they can't build on, it, but no one's challenged it yet, so.
gotcha.
So there's you are protected if you have a parcel of record that was existing and lawful before zoning,
Mhm.
that you have the rights. If you meet the requirements of the ordinance to use.
Okay,
But our small lots, you gotta have a well and a septic system.
Yeah,
Put on there, and you can't do that.
If you have a 20 by 100, you're not gonna get a septic and well, so the logistics of it. You know, basically then,
And then if your neighbor's got a well too close to the property line, you're not gonna get it on two.
yeah, so sometimes just. You know, cause there's a lot of parcels that are now up for auction, so I'm getting a lot of calls about. You know, these 4 lots are for sale or whatever, and,
mhm, mhm.
you know, that's always, you know, you can get a septic as well, sure. And then I kinda do the setbacks, cause your setbacks are very, very generous, so. Even if you had a 40-foot wide lot, you could meet the setbacks if you put a single wide, but I don't think you can get a septic and well, drain field and reserve grade. So,
Okay,
Should we be putting, the requirement for the well and the septic to be identified locations and approved by the health department for the septic and well location
so our
prior to?
ordinance already requires health department approval,
it does,
Before you
in
get
the
it.
districts, yeah,
yes,
yeah, it does.
yes. It says that in there already.
Yeah.
But I would let them do their job.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Well, see it on the site plan.
Okay, last provision, if that's okay with you guys, section 206, structures with a flood hazard area, this is pretty easy. Across the board, the issue is, replace the assessor's evaluation of the structure with modern, standards, which is NFIP, which is National Flood Insurance Program / FEMA definitions of fair market value. As opposed to,
See, 50% of the assessors.
yeah, that's the assessors, that's the problem.
Gotcha.
It's supposed to be NFIP / FEMA definitions of fair market value. Other than that, it seems to be fine. Unless you guys have some additional questions.
I think fair market value is also heard true cap, right?
The gap analysis, assessors values can be complicated because of, state tax laws that sometimes affect the assessed value, so across the board, Williams and Work, all across the board, all the gap analysis said use, FEMA and or NFIP definitions of fair market value.
So we gotta go out and get a market, a value of every one of these houses that are.
No, I think, for all structures within a flood hazard area, repair, construction, or improvement of such
Who's gonna
structure.
determine the fair market value?
Are you familiar with the FEMA fair market value, process,
If our
NFIP?
assessor doesn't do it, then we have to hire somebody.
What do you know about this?
Oh, yeah, the owner would determine it,
Sure.
but then. But then they could just lowball it, so not.
Yeah, it's out of sync with FEMA standards and distorted by tax caps. This is update the standard to 50% of the fair market value, pre-damage value. Well, people, I mean, realtors establish fair market value all the time.
I think
You can't go
fair
back.
market value would be,
I'll look it up for next time. If, I'm sure that there's a clear definition in both of these sources on how you calculate it. I don't know who does it off the top of my head, so we have to do some more work there.
I would think an appraiser would be.
There you go.
would be-
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's it on section 2, I think. Do you guys have any other, just overall, the weaknesses are that it's too permissive. It allows full reconstruction of destroyed non-conforming structures, so we already talked about that.
Which isn't a bad thing, it's just you need to, I mean, we are in a poor community and. If you have to now redo your foundation when it's already there, that could be more value, so it's up to you how you feel about it. It is permissive, you're right.
And then they're suggesting that we have 3 definitions: non-conforming structure, non-conforming use, non-conforming lot of record. All which are in the section 7 definition section. And there are several suggestions to make those more specific and fuller. So non-conforming structure, for example, only addresses yard setbacks, but not height or lot coverage or other dimensional standards.
Right, we had talked about height.
Non-conforming use does not address intensity, accessory uses, or mixed uses.
Okay,
Non-conforming lot of record does not address common ownership merger, which is essential for section 205. So, and they're asking also if the audit recommends adding illustrations for yards, lot lines, non-conforming structures, and irregular lots. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how that's done? Visuals for,
I don't know, I mean, I have other ordinances that have graphs. Older ordinances don't have any graphs, but the new ones have lots of beautiful pictures.
pictures help. If you see anything, you know, send it, you know, and I'll make a copy of it and put it in the file and refer to it when the time is right. And then, the other thing that, was picked up is, there's no reference to the ZBA's role when it comes to nonconformities. Do they have a role when it comes to nonconformity? Article 6 does not explicitly authorize ZBA to interpret nonconforming status, but legally they can, that is their job. It's just the special use they can't do, right?
I don't know what to determine non-conforming.
It's not a special use.
So you go to the ZBA for an actual variance, a dimensional variance. So if your house doesn't meet the setbacks and you wanna add on, that would be a dimensional variance, that would go to the ZBA. Or if you, an appeal of a decision,
What about, 75% was destroyed? No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Denied. Okay, now can I appeal it to ZBA?
yes,
Okay,
that would be an interpretation
okay.
appeal or the zoning administrator's decision, you can appeal that.
Okay, so we do need to address that, both in section 6 and maybe in here a little bit. So that's it. I think, yeah, that's it. Unless you guys have any other thoughts or comments. Overall, not too bad. It needs some help, but nothing we can't handle.
Probably one of the better.
Yep, one of the better ones. Yep,
ones.
yep. Are we good, everybody? Move on.
Yeah.
Updated bylaws. I'm just gonna say right out, I did not put in, Ken, a capital improvement plan provision, because as I was going back through my notes, I don't think we decided on what to do. I think we were a little perplexed on whether we could actually be taking that on, I mean, at this time. You guys need to speak up on that too. Is that, I don't recall ever coming to a decision about that. Not that we can't do it or shouldn't do it, but we hadn't decided how to do it.
What, unless the township board changes what they decided in 2021, I think we have it. We just haven't.
It's really old.
incorporated it.
Yeah, it's really old and probably out of date too. I do have yeah,
Well, if you use the plan was pretty good, and everything in it is only an example, it's not actual numbers or
yeah.
anything, it's just there for an example, what it would look like.
But like parks, there's nothing in there for parks, as I recall.
Well, there's a recreational section,
I didn't see that. I'll have to look again.
shouldn't it?
So I don't know how you want to handle the bylaws, if you want to work on them some more.
Well, you were gonna take out on the chairperson, you're gonna take out prepared, meeting agenda for the chairperson because it's in section 5.
It's in both places.
Yeah,
Don't,
you-
I don't think
but
it hurts
here it just
anything.
says you do that, and the other one that says you or Tasha, you need your backup.
Okay, that's fine.
So, you know what?
Yeah, I
think
know what
you
you're talking
take that out.
Yep.
We talked about adding the secretary stuff. Basically, it said the same thing, but it was broken out in some
Yeah, I
sections.
added it all. The only thing that I'm just calling out on myself, I did not do the capital improvement plan provision. Because I did not have clear direction from you guys on what we want to do there. We don't have to prove this tonight. You can look at it and we can look at
Well,
it.
you got a numbering issue between 3.2 and 3.
Oh, you're right. Yep, I see it. 3.1, 3.2, 3.2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Capital improvement plan, typically an appendix to the master plan, don't they go together?
I'm still new at this.
It was
Yeah.
Like an appendix to the master plan.
and the second priority, I had a different wording there. I didn't use the township board because really what you're doing there is, the commission members shall.
Wait,
try to
what provision
represent-
are you on here?
That's 3.2, the first 3.2.
Okay.
As a secondary priority, each commission member shall strive to represent an important segment of the township as identified in the master plan for Columbia Township
Mhm.
and appointed by the mayor of the planning commission. That's talking about who's gonna be your environmental, who's gonna be represented.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's not somebody appointing somebody, it's we decide,
I gotcha. But we haven't
you're
done
the
that.
specialist in environmental. I mean,
Yeah.
you should be our environmental person, and then somebody that's on the farm or,
But we haven't, I take your point.
but, well, when I pick people that way.
So I think you told me farming, but I'm not really
Well,
farming.
you have a farm type area with the
I do,
marijuana and
and-
stuff like
and
that.
that's true.
And he's also got farming background, runs a, what do you call that,
What'd you
organic?
Oh, it used to be, yeah, a long time ago.
What'd you do? What'd you
I
run?
grew organic produce,
Okay.
hippy dippy, yeah,
What'd you grow?
mostly garlic and
Okay.
sweet onions, yeah,
California grows.
and other stuff. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't know that
Yeah.
we've formally done
Well,
that.
it shouldn't be township, planning commission, we do that ourselves.
I can change that, but we haven't done it, is what I'm saying.
What's that?
We haven't done that. I don't think Jay knows that he represents a section. I don't know that Frank knows. Maybe he does. I just, if
Well,
we
he's
want to
on-
do it, we should clarify.
He's on the lake, he's also, he's also got the construction background and,
Shall strive to represent.
Yeah, it-
Important.
But appointed by a majority vote, it makes it sort of formalize it. We haven't
Yeah.
done that,
We haven't done it explicitly.
We haven't.
may have done it implicitly
right?
through.
Yeah.
Ken-
Do you
Ken.
want to do it explicitly? Do we want it, our
Well-
bylaws to require us to do it explicitly?
we can, I can give you all the sections out of, well, it's in the master plan, what we.
I don't,
They
no,
get-
I don't, no,
But
you're
I
missing, you're
don't-
making it bigger than it needs to
I'm
be.
not too
Yeah.
concerned about it, but it's not the township board.
I got that.
And it really,
Do you want
really, you
to,
don't need to say that it's appointed by the majority of anything. It just says that we should have to,
I think
that
that's
for
better.
seconds.
I think that's better, because we haven't done it and,
because you can just take that right out.
okay. Okay, end at township, master plan.
Then I had that numbering, accepting gifts, we
didn't change that.
talked about it and we were talking about,
Mhm.
getting rid of the $10 because we don't even think it should be $10. Remember that?
I don't remember, my notes didn't really, indicate that we kind of went, whatever, it wasn't a big deal.
And see, there is no $23 comma 3, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Oh, that's gotta be a typo.
But I'm not too concerned about changing that, it's just, we shouldn't really accept that again.
So what are we saying on accepting gifts? We just. Do we want to keep the $10 in or not? I thought we talked about it. We all kind of went, doesn't seem to be much of a problem. I see that.
I don't, like I said, I don't care if you leave it in there, I'm not gonna take.
I'll fix the typo though. I see that.
$10 is close enough to zero, but
Do you think?
not really, I mean, $10 is.
I was looking at this training and that B says failure to meet the annual training requirements shall result in a member not being eligible for reappointment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that should be that strict.
Well, if you've been now, unless you haven't served for a year, but if you've served for a year and you haven't done your training, I don't think you should be reappointed.
Well,
Now, but if you, for some reason, come in halfway through because you're taking somebody else's spot, that happens a lot. And you've only been serving for a few months, I get it, but we need people trained.
I cannot tell you how hard it is to find people to put on the planning.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know, just going around scrabbling to find somebody that's willing to come in and do this
Mhm.
is very hard, and if, we make it in our bylaws, basically, you're gonna be reappointed. And I'll be reappointed.
Do you guys have problems?
We better have something where something other than,
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna see somebody get kicked off because they didn't do the training.
and here we.
But what if it's
Here
one
we
year,
already
2
have,
years,
here
3
we already
years, no
have,
training?
I'm not, if I go out and get somebody, I'm gonna have to train them.
Mhm,
Well, then we gotta get them up to speed.
mhm.
We're a lot farther ahead right now with this group being together for
Understand.
just a year.
Yep,
That-
year and a half.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a group like that again.
Yeah.
You're gonna be right back to having somebody that,
But
Doesn't work.
to that point, we talked about this. We're like, yeah, we can take in 3 hours of training a year. What's the big deal? It's all,
It just said may result
May-
instead of shall.
okay.
No, that's
May-
good.
I mean, this is like,
Like, I
training.
can live with that.
This is training right here.
Yeah, well, sorta.
Well, no, listen, Natasha.
well, I think this could qualify as training. Going through this like this and you have Tasha here explaining it,
I can live with what Tasha recommended, May.
well, it shouldn't be.
What section is that in?
I-
4.2, E as a boy.
I got 3 hours of training in this past month.
I know you did. I'm training all the time.
I went to renewable, energy.
I want to hear about that. Maybe, at the end of the meeting, I'd love
I'll
to.
tell you what, I got, they gave me, all the slides. And, I will email them to everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, but maybe at the end of the meeting,
And then you guys, if you read the slides, you could probably take a 3-hour credit.
there you go.
I have another one scheduled for September on, I think it's solar panels.
So to the point of training, Ken, last month, as I recall, we wanted to make sure that everybody has access to the Michigan Township Association website.
Did we get that?
Did we get that? I think you're the other one that can handle that.
Well, I'm,
I know I have it. Have you guys
I
checked?
think I
I've
have.
got something, I think it's MTA.
Well, we always can go back on it when we took our first thing in.
Yeah,
It's
you
wide
can
open.
just Log in. and create
Log
an
in.
account.
That's
Mhm.
true.
So the
We all got
township
accounts.
That
has-
MTA is pretty good and it's.
It's free, and it's free, and
It
they
is
got
free.
videos and
Mhm.
stuff, they got all sorts of stuff.
Once you,
Oh,
once you create an account.
you can get on MTA?
Open.
Jay, can you get on MTA?
I haven't tried lately.
It's not just that you get
Did she give you a password? For MTA?
I think so.
give it
Did you get a
a.
password for MTA?
Mhm.
And look, you guys, look to see, it's not just that you get on and you get the exchanges, the conversations that are happening, but then one of the, across your dashboard, there's gonna be training opportunities. You wanna make sure you can get into that, both
Okay.
articles and webinars.
But no, she didn't give me I didn't get a password for that.
This is not the same password we did to take our test on. That was the MTA and then,
No, you'll have a password for MTA.
Yeah.
Not the one that you took the test on that missed you.
okay.
So you don't have one?
Mhm.
Maybe just make sure, Ken, if Kara's gonna do it, just make sure.
I
know
I
I
just
have
asked her
mine.
to make sure all of us.
Yeah, I know I do.
Okay,
so-
my next thing I had was, I was looking at the regular meeting minutes, 5-1, where we talked about the planning commission would be held on the second Wednesday of every month.
Mhm.
And I thought what we had written in there is that we would determine
We
the
changed,
time, and
where did we do that? I know what you're talking about.
we said we were gonna put that in there because we'll be revising this every time that we change our meeting date and time.
Okay,
So if we just say every January that we're going to determine what day and time
okay,
we'll meet monthly.
no problem. Got it.
Getting to the end here. Well, I had the capital improvement down. Yep, that was it.
Okay, well, I'll make those changes. Still no decision on the capital improvement plan, though.
What's that?
Still no decision on the capital improvement plan, how we, if we incorporate in the bylaws, if we take Tas's suggestion and have it as part of the master plan. And what are, how we're gonna handle that. If we're gonna put obligations on ourselves in the bylaws, I wanna make sure we're able to handle it.
You have I think it's on our website, our capital improvement.
I have it with me. If you guys don't have it, you can take a copy home. I have one here. I do.
Well, I think it's on our website. I think
Is
it's where the ordinances. If not, I'll have,
Here it is.
Yeah, I got it. Think I do.
Have you seen this, Jay? Have you seen it? I'm sure you
Yeah,
have.
I've seen
Yeah. Have you seen this, Jay?
No,
We can make a copy before you leave.
okay.
Why don't we talk about it again next week, how we want to handle it? All
I
right,
believe that the planning commission does write the capital improvement plan.
or a committee does,
So it-
yeah, or a committee does and we approve it.
Michigan Planning and Enabling has a section on capital improvement plans that they belong with the planning commission.
I just always thought they were an amendment or an appendix to the master plan, but I guess they can be separate documents. And then we do the zoning
Well,
ordinance.
that is in, see, that probably should be.
Say that again, please.
An appendix to the master plan.
So it doesn't get updated every year, just every 5 years? Right?
Correct.
Or is it every year?
It has to be reviewed every.
Every. But like for, like the fire department, we're looking at their capital improvement plan every year, aren't we?
I don't know, that's,
Right? Is that just, aren't we kind of?
I have not done I did do a capital
Yeah.
improvement plan for it, but the board never approved it, but that was back in 2022.
And I did a
And
little
then
one,
what I've been doing is I got my spreadsheet, that's my capital improvement plan, where I have every little thing I know that we have to buy out in the future on it,
yeah,
for my budgeting
Not
process.
budget, yeah.
yeah, it's budgeting, yeah,
So I use that for budgeting, but some of the stuff that we have to buy, the township board will take it off the budget, out of the budget.
Well, Dave, do you have one of these at home? Do you want a copy tonight? May I suggest we take a copy home and take a look at it for next month and talk about it? and how we
If you're gonna
wanna-
make copies, make one.
Okay,
Just make
all right,
sure.
before we leave, is that okay? We just,
You should have a hard copy, or you should have an electronic copy.
I probably do, yeah.
okay. I can make these other bylaw revisions, we'll talk about the capital improvement plan and go from there.
And then we'll approve it next month.
Hmm?
We'll take care of the bylaws next month, we'll approve it.
We should, but I may not have the capital improvement plan language is my only point.
What's that?
I won't have the capital improvement plan language
It,
for the next,
the capital improvement plan is not gonna make or break our.
okay, all right.
it says 6 years for capital improvement plan and
6,
capital or in, co-pilot.
okay, and this one then is basically obsolete because it's almost 2027.
The
So,
commission must,
I mean, if we're gonna,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
it says it must annually prepare a 6-year capital improvement plan
I thought it was an annual thing.
for public structures and improvements unless it's specifically exempted.
But we're a tiny little rural township. I'm not even sure we have the skills to do that. I mean, we're in a big urban township, they're gonna have somebody dedicated or paid to do that kind of work. It's very
We don't
intense.
have public structures, we're improved capital, we don't have infrastructure.
No, it's the fire department.
Well, we know we gotta do major maintenance on our parking lot.
Administration
That's
building.
building in our budget. I mean, our budget would give you a lot of the stuff that
Yeah,
you'd find in your map or your.
I'm gonna research what other townships are doing,
Mhm.
all right, and how they're handling
Permanent-
it. Small
permanent-
rural townships, because I think it's a big bite for them.
No, we don't have,
We don't.
that's a problem.
Well, but even for us to do that is not a easy task.
It says it's only mandatory if you own and operate your own water sewer system,
Which we do not.
either alone or jointly.
It's a, you know,
It's only required. That doesn't mean you can't have.
all right, moving on to our reports. Zoning administrator submitted 2 reports. Tasha, did you want to comment on anything?
Um, Same old. Nothing exciting. I did actually deny 2 permits. And one was appealed to the ZBA. One did not meet the 14-foot requirement, it was only 12.5. And the other one did not have a full perimeter foundation. Actually, it was the house that was on the property of the PUD.
Oh,
And
what's
they-
going on there?
They proposed to build it on like steel beams up in the air kind of thing.
Oh,
So I also denied that one.
okay.
Never do this.
And a pole barn house that didn't have a full perimeter. So I actually denied 3 applications.
Wow.
So I thought that pole barn construction was allowed.
No,
Then
the
what
ordinance
is
was
that?
not amended.
What pole barn was that? The one that put the steel around the outside?
No, a house, a barnuminium, someone applied for a pole type
Mhm.
house. But the ordinance was not amended to allow them, so.
We need to address that topic, seriously. A lot of people want that.
Yes.
And I don't think we've talked about it.
And I think I thought the ordinance was gonna amend it and I actually allowed one of them
Okay,
and then it never went through, so.
okay. Okay,
So this is on the PUD property.
So I denied 3 applications on that particular property, that house, they did it on steel beams
Mhm.
because it's almost all wet.
okay.
And they found one little spot that they could build. And then they kind of raised it up, so
So Eagle said they could build it there, they could put a septic on that property and a well. That's all passed through Eagle already?
I have all permits, yes.
And you denied it because,
Doesn't have a full perimeter foundation.
so it can't be up on stilts. That's what you mean. That's
Correct.
fancy talk for a camp.
Yes, correct, yes, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Or have holes in the ground.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Okay.
Have you issued any violations against any of our RVs and the satellite subdivision?
Any violations?
Yeah,
I haven't issued any tickets.
I didn't say, take your notice that you send out.
Oh, the notice?
We've got Dan Williams and Lori and those people over there calling me constantly about the problem with those people living in an RV for a year and a half. But
Right? Or they.
Don't
but they
have a well,
complain
don't
about
have-
the other one that's been
don't-
there for 6 years? It seems
Yeah.
like such selective enforcement in there, but that's another.
But I thought we had like 9 of them in there and I thought we had
On his
the
list,
fence on 9.
on Dan's list. There were 9,
You got the address, you got
Oh, okay,
pictures of it,
yes.
you got everything.
okay, I do have that, yes,
I think Lori actually put it together
okay.
and she
yeah,
turned it in as a complaint to the
Okay.
township.
I do have that, I think I have 2 sheets, yes.
Ken, do you wanna, you actually raised that issue in your report. Do you wanna have the floor and run us through your report here? Is there anything you wanna talk about in particular?
He's talking to you about you reading your.
Yeah, you didn't hear me, sorry.
I,
Yeah, you got the floor.
I wrote it up.
You did, do you want to comment?
I don't really wanna comment unless someone has a question.
I have one, and that is the master plan amendment. So I listened to both the special board meeting and the board meeting for July, and I heard the board say, yeah, they think we need to do a survey, that the planning commission is already pretty worked up, working on the zoning ordinance. It wouldn't be fair to ask us to take on the master plan in the middle of doing a zoning ordinance. And Mary in particular mentioned West Michigan University as a good source to get a survey done on our current, and Tasha, you tell us, what, do you think we need a change in the master plan to accommodate whatever it is we decide to do on short-term rentals?
Didn't think the master plan even said anything.
It
about
doesn't.
short-term
You
rentals.
can have them or not. It's when you can, it's open to interpretation. There's nothing that is problematic.
Don't think.
Yeah.
The master plan should address short-term rentals anyway, it should be addressed in your zoning ordinance.
So the idea I thought was that the board was going to kind of handle the survey part of it.
But the-
Carl has, got a hold of, I believe, Western Michigan
Yeah,
University and
yeah.
Michigan State University
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah,
However, I don't think it will be completed before December 31st.
mhm.
And we probably need something related to this short-term rentals and what our residents think.
Yeah, they would need to get it out in like September.
We can do a Google survey.
Or-
Those are easy to do.
Yeah.
The,
But I don't think that it's an amendment to the master plan.
okay, I
I also
appreciate
thought
that.
that was odd.
Yeah, okay.
What ordinance?
Why are you amending the master plan?
Yeah, right now it just says residential.
It doesn't, yeah, you can do it, you can go either way, in my view, under the master plan, yeah.
Well, master plan says that residential is single and double family.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
If you're gonna add SDRs, you would have to,
Well,
there's a district out there gonna put it in. right?
when do you want the survey to go out? Are you saying September? Cause we've got
No,
a
I'm
survey.
just doing math in my
Yeah.
head, like, people always want 2 months to do it, and then it's gotta be back in December, you gotta, read the results, I was just.
Yeah, you got the holidays and all that other stuff going on.
We've got a survey right now that ends August 30th.
But the master plan specifically now mentions only single family homes and duplexes. But a short-term rental is any single family home,
Business.
right?
It's a commercial.
What would be the critical, this? One thing I could generate some suggested questions and we could go over them. And what's fun to do is I can take the master plan and I can put it in an AI format, it's digital. I can say, look at this master plan, and you can say any other document you might want me to look at my zoning ordinance, and tell me, read the master plan and the zoning ordinance, or whatever documents we give it, and generate some logical questions for surveys from this. We can, in other words, if there's any other instructive documents out there that you can think of.
Well, you can search the master plan and just put a single family and just you'll find it.
Okay, well,
What is the purpose of this survey?
to see what residents want to do on short-term rental. To get a feel for what appetite is for short, is that correct?
Specifically,
Specifically.
Yeah, well,
short-term
like I
rental.
said, Kara is looking for a master plan revision by having Western Michigan or Michigan State. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
if she's gonna talk to Van Buren County Planning Commission.
yeah, I think we just need a survey, Ken,
It has nothing to do with the master plan.
and then the planning.
We about ready to do our master plan review anyway? Is it the 5 years about here?
We're over the 5 years, we extended it for 8 years.
Rural townships are not
Because we're a
required,
rural community,
yeah,
100%.
every 5, it's too much, yeah, but we're allowed to go to 10, so that would take us to 2030, so if we get the zoning ordinance done next year, we could go, whoever's on the planning commission could go right into the master plan.
So
I'll get some more clarification from it next week.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's all I had, I think. Do you guys have any questions? I do want to talk a little bit about what the board, what Jason suggested on the special use. Process being possibly the way to address short-term rentals. Tasha and I had a quick conversation a couple of days ago, and she informed me that Fenville did that. And
who
they,
did that?
Fenville,
But
and they've rescinded it because it didn't work. Do you know any more about
They were
it?
talking a special use permit. Karen's been talking about that for a while.
It's
So
too,
it wasn't.
Isn't that- did I hear-
It's a longer process, cause you only meet once a month and. I
Well,
think
it's-
they just decided to just allow it without the special use.
no annual fees, no,
Well, they still have a rental program, but to be a short-term rental, there's not an additional. So they've always had a rental program in the city of Fenville. but
okay,
Most of it was more long-term because short-term is relatively new.
okay,
So it also included any rentals, whether you were short or long. So within like the last 3 years, they kind of started to say, are you short or long-term, and kind of started to get a list together because they knew this ordinance was coming. And then they decided any new ones had to get a special use to have a short-term rental because they had a cap of 20% in the.
Per leg or-
Whatever.
okay, okay.
So,
huh,
to kind of keep track of that, they then did the special use. And I don't know, somebody maybe complained or something, they just decided to remove it from the ordinance.
maybe a couple of us should have talked to him.
Well, Fenville has infrastructure.
True, but I'm just curious about the,
That's huge.
it's the process that I'm more
Yes,
interested.
they
Yeah.
have an application, they
Yeah.
pay a fee, and they do an inspection every 3 years.
And and my first reaction to the special use is that's a huge burden on essentially what is a volunteer planning commission, when really it's a full-time job for somebody, or a part-time job. It's a lot. I don't think you want volunteers, essentially to be tasked with this. First of all, we'd be overwhelmed. We wouldn't get our regular business done. Even if we had 30 of these things to process. We'd be under the gun. It'd be you need someone, in my view, if we go this way. In my view, you're gonna need someone that's their job, is to process these.
We'll have to face the increased taxes. Get a millage rate. That won't go over with the public either. No.
So the board directed us to come up with some guidelines for short-term rentals.
Well, they haven't really directed us
Well,
yet.
they-
It's coming.
they-
It's coming.
They're basically talked about
Somebody get,
Come.
yeah.
updating the master plan and doing it sooner than later, and that they were gonna check with the Western Michigan University. And there will probably be some actions coming our way.
Okay,
So we'll wait
So-
for further direction.
so
Yeah.
we have to figure out what form does that take? Does that show up in the master plan? Does it show up in the zoning ordinance?
Well,
Is it a rental policy that's separate from both of those documents?
Be a standalone ordinance that the board adopts,
Yep.
and then in the.
police power ordinance.
Okay, go ahead. What?
So in the zoning ordinance, we then in our districts, we would add that as an allowed use or as a use for a special use.
Oh, okay,
So we still have to put it in the zoning ordinance that it's allowed.
okay,
If the
so,
board adopts an ordinance.
so the process is, we would write a standalone ordinance concerning short-term
Well, The
rentals.
board is supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're writing it. Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
board is supposed to write it.
then what is our role in?
It's not clear to me yet. I think the board needs to give us more direction. I
Well,
came out of.
They do have an ordinance that was written for them, and
And I think you already
They-
did
Yep.
all of the research.
Yep.
And you drafted an ordinance.
We
but
revised it a bit. You almost,
None of that.
it got pretty detailed and you almost have to start over.
And then from some of the minutes, the board is taking the stance that they're not allowed,
That what?
that they're not allowed.
And that as of effective December of this year, people will
You
get
have to
cease and
stop.
desist orders.
Right,
No more short-term rentals. However, if, there's an opportunity for the planning commission to make a recommendation to the board to allow them, and if so, under what circumstances?
oh, okay,
At least I think that's coming.
Well, they wanted to erase the chalkboard.
yeah,
Can't.
Yeah, right,
Start- That's.
and start over.
Yeah, that's
There's
the-
really so many variables.
That's the language Jason used.
Mhm.
It was
Use
his
a
idea.
survey,
Yeah.
hence the survey to find out what the community wants. So the survey is to poll the whole community on how they feel. Because we kind of had the meeting and most of the people aren't here, because, you know,
Yeah, you can't really do it.
so the survey to know how the community feels about short-term rentals.
And the survey would have to be done carefully, not just like a
Right.
Google form where anybody could put 5 or 10 responses in. It would be done,
Do you mail one to each resident?
Right.
We have to
Is it
go through
just
that
on
whole
the website?
idea.
So you have
Yeah.
to figure out those details.
You do.
also.
okay,
And you wanna make sure it gets to every resident, you know, it's important.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's you have to pay for it to be mailed, because those cost things, or, you know.
It's good to have something like Westford involved,
you
like
put
we
it in
could
your
use the
tax
help.
bill, or, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, okay.
So there's gonna be two
Well, they have
surveys or
to
just
do
one?
it. I hear they go door to door.
Just one survey? What about,
Well,
do you
Well,
wanna
they
do the
do, they
master
do a
plan?
random,
That'd be great.
do a random from a list of people. They pick out so many and randomly and go.
I'm most interested in what the questions are. That would just
They're
be,
online.
they already have the questions? On Western Michigan, this is standardized questions for every township? For short-term rentals?
There are 3 or 4 of them I looked at for planning or for the master plan questions and
But we're doing short-term rentals.
like 6, I didn't look at short term.
Okay, right.
I just did the master plan.
Okay, well, we'll wait. We'll wait till we hear more from the board on this.
And basically it's tied to the sections of a master plan that you put. Did have so many.
It would be
questions.
great to get some help, though.
Yeah.
I think we have our hands pretty
Yeah.
well full.
Right?
Yeah.
I think they need to get out.
Okay. Any other comments from anybody?
Well, Karen made some good points in her
Time to go home.
letter.
Yep, we've read them.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
but she made some good points.
Yep. Planning Commission, I just want to tell you that the park plan is out for public comment. We had an open house here on August 1st. I've told you about that in my little report here. The thing that struck me the most, and I wrote about it a little bit in here, is the people that showed up at our open house have served in the capacity of the board or the planning commission at different times. And one guy said he was sitting here at the dais and he's watching kids play on the propane tank and was having a conversation about, could we do something for the kids that are playing on the propane tank? And so there's a little, it wasn't highly attended, I'm not saying that, but probably about 10, maybe 12 people were here. And the ones that were here stayed here, looked at the schematic and had a lot to say about frustration that there hasn't been a park or anything at this point. So that was a takeaway, that I wanted to share with you. And if you haven't looked at the park plan, I would ask you to do it. It's posted on the website and there's a survey. And,
Kind of unclear on this website. I can't really make out any.
so it looks like this. Let me bring it up.
No, I tried.
You
to
have
pull
been
it
able,
up and it-
it's not that I have no control over
I
that, right?
understand.
But here's the website. Let me just show you in case you haven't done it.
I've been there.
Okay, so scroll down and
Mhm.
there's a survey.
PDF.
That's the survey. You can go right into it and then there's the park plan right there.
Mhm.
And there was some early comment by some of our own staff about, oh, this is gonna raise taxes. That's not what this is. This was written to maximize grants. And we won't get grants without some cost share. The MDNR grants, every single one requires 25% cost share. So that is the question we're asking. How do you want the township? If you want a park, how do you want the township to come up with the $50,000 they would need in any year if they got a $200,000 grant? And people, well, why? Well, and the explanation I'm using is, well, we don't have any park assets. They want to make sure that we have the responsibility and the interest in taking care of them. And I'm using the example of buying your teenager a car, and you might make your teenager help pay for that car so that teenagers were responsible with this asset. So I think it's that. So I would be grateful if you guys help, if you're hearing that, no, that's not what this is. If anybody raises, I actually reads the report, it's very clear, and the survey too. that it's written to maximize grants, but that doesn't mean we get it for free. There's a cost share. If we want to do this, there's a cost share.
Fire truck, you get a grant?
Not yet. We
Still
will
up?
find out between August 30th and September 30th. I will tell you, I've been hearing that Michigan is not getting FEMA grants. I know that that's been in the papers lately.
Yeah,
Because
so-
we didn't vote for Trump.
Somebody might not be happy with him.
Somebody, yeah, well, I'm not, have you been reading this? I've been hearing that Washington is specifically asking and taking away grants to any state that did not elect the president. So we were turned down on 2 FEMA disaster reliefs for the UP and also for the Niles area. That makes me pretty skittish about getting the fire truck. Maybe that makes you happy.
Oh, and
I would love to get the fire truck, but I've done what I can and, it's up to FEMA folks at this point. You'll hear, Kara will hear, actually, she'll hear first. Kara will. She signed up for. Kara will get the news.
Yeah.
So they said anytime after August 30th. So we're almost there. Anything else?
Nope.
Mario, do you have any public comment for us tonight?
No. Nothing.
Okay. Meeting adjourned at 8:46. Thank you, everybody. How do I turn this off? Ken, how do I turn this off? Do I go over to the owl and turn it off, or is it on the computer?
I gotta call her. She got a.
Hey, Ken, before you run away, how do I turn this off?
You just gotta call it, say.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gotta call her. Was off, and it's still recording voices.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd love to see a new website. It's not my world.
I get it, yeah, no,
Yeah,
can only worry about certain.
can only
Yeah.
do so much at a time. I might send these bridge articles to you. I'm learning a lot. I had no idea the townships went back to the Civil War in this state. And we're one of 2 or 3 states in the entire country that has these tiny little townships, and they're finding.
Yeah.
It's getting that as another one of these townships.
Oh.
In today's world, people don't want to serve, and we
Oh,
understand
really?
why,
Yeah.
we know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, it's like, of course, yeah, I
it's
was-
thankless, people knock out public, you know. And that this township organization that we have here in Michigan is truly much more expensive than other states. The fact that we have to run our own elections, for example,
Is there a fire?
other states don't require that, the county doesn't. There was a bill, that was presented for the state legislature that didn't move, and so they're trying to pass a bill that says if you're licensed to run elections,
have to.
you can come into any township and take place to run elections.
This
So the state's trying to think of ways
So
to
if
make
I
it
may-
easier
so-
to find someone to run elections. No one-
Since the road is up here, it's like out here north
It's
line.
very good, you have to stay up all night,
The
but
south line
you know,
would be.
especially as the line, yeah, and so I just, it helps me to keep that in mind when it gets to dodging. You know, and you realize, there's some structural issues with this getting set up. I mean, I can't do anything about it, but it helps me to understand
But
that we can always talk to our rep, but the roadway is
Or a.
Rural
right
townships
way
are
on
clearly
your
not
property
ours.
lines. You protect them.
And that's our representative, that's our representative. So if we ever got our act together, not that we don't, but if we ever formed strong opinions about. Yes. We might have our representative and hey, we're serious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
they
easy.
come down
Yeah,
there,
so
they-
it's just obvious, 'cause
We have to go talk to the whole.
he's-
Well, Polly,
I'm by the way.
it should, he below you. That's their job, is to come and talk to hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought. I hear you, I know the front, the only way to change the, if we all, the county to take on election, there's to be about. That's all. And that's what I'm learning.
I thought.
He's a have, they might, I'm not sure,
The ordinance is, I mean.
but the responsibility is ours, under the statute. Military, and elections, and, tax collector. So that would be.
Wonder about that.
The articles and send them, just because it's bad right now, thanks, Tasha, nice to see you all.
Want to finish this
Appreciate
right?
it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's on about one of my own days.
Hey, we're on the other side, look, chipping out, he's spending our business in my way, residential district. And so that's why they're writing that ordinance, that we can.
And then we're like.
Ron.
Yeah. I think it's residential district at all, they're going to be, you know.
Okay, is it?
Commercial. Huh?
You're still around?
I'm gonna take care of, I'm gonna take care of the-
Love the trees,
So we have to have this plan.
I wanna see if he, know he can build it before
Or
or
something,
something.
or
The
something.
one we have.
That says it will have.
Or sauna or whatever he's
They
calling
want to do
it.
that.
We have
Buildings, I
something,
think they-
five of them in front of your.
Yeah, Bronte.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yes,
neighbor.
they stand
My
up
neighbor.
and this.
Yeah.
It's like.
He's crazy.
Well,
Yeah, like, it was nice.
That a garage, you know,
Friday,
10 days?
and then I'll pull it up.
The thrift store.
Okay. So-
Okay, downtown Bakery, so it's like, Bronte, and I just, I'm in this position, so I know him. I think I'm this, oh, my name is Scott Bronte, Jeff Thrift Store. Would you guys like some clothing? Would you like some? And I, no.
You know what was coming.
Really, I think you should take the Goodwill because you can drive your container right under, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I just started laughing, I said, you don't know who you're talking to.
Then he read.
You're my neighbor, I'm watching this thing, yeah. Oh
Okay,
my
anyway.
God.
That's why I couldn't say anything.
Okay, gotcha, all right, you can
Already
get
turned
this.
it off. Or, I'll wait, turn it up.
All right, good night, guys, have a good night.
What's new?
Oh, no, that tree was busted off.
I can't look outside, I've been too busy.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey,
I'm,
so-
on the shelf, I'm doing, no time to go. I haven't been on the lake city.
Where you getting a big buck? You know, money.
Oh, good luck.
Now,
See if I turn it into some.
It must be a labor of love.
At 4 o'clock in the morning, I start, I've been doing it all day.
There's no. There's no.
So he said, shipping containers.
We're gonna get them off the.
How about you?
We're gonna want them to ask us, they gotta be 180 feet off.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
Well, no sense being in the front yard or as a backyard of a.
Plus they're too big to be they need a permit. They have to be an accessory building.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Good night, sorry, late again, maybe.
Yeah, let's, look at it.
As long as there's something.
There's always gonna be something. It doesn't end here, when one thing is almost done, the other is something else. I thought. Well, I'm all going to work with people. Keep it locked up.